Okay, so the reason why Medspas are offering these heavily discounted intro treatments, such as $10 Botox units, cheap facials, one session of body contouring, one session of laser hair removal, try before you buy types of new intro offers, is because it works. It's very effective to get people in the door with the real goal of being able to upsell them and to retain them into memberships or ongoing treatment plans. There is a night and day difference between running a $99, $149, $199, even $299 or even $399 introductory special, as opposed to advertising a $3,000 package in the ads. It's reflected directly in the cost per lead. It shoots through the roof, and this is why you probably won't see anyone in the competitive area in your geographic area running those kinds of offers. Now, the catch and the caveat is that this is going to invite one very specific objection at times, which is I only want what I came in for. And it's probably the biggest challenge with loss leaders and with these introductory offers. If you're wondering, loss leaders are when Medspas are running ads for offers where they're actually losing money on the front end because they know and understand that the lifetime value of that customer is more than worth it for them to actually attract and get people in very, very cheaply, very effectively in terms of running their ads on Meta, Facebook and Instagram. This is all about social media advertising. And so the importance of this approach is to basically align marketing with sales very, very congruently. This is a process that starts in the setting call when you're calling the leads, your front desk, your marketing agency are calling the leads and they're booking them in. And so this is where it really starts in the consultation over the phone, which is where you should frame the offer as a consultation plus treatment or assessment plus first session. See, this already suggests that there may be more sessions required. This then should be aligned with the expectations that are being set in the intro call. And you have to use language like discover your personalized treatment plan rather than just promoting the discount. All of this essentially hints at a prescriptive based consultation process. It's kind of like when you go to the doctor and you have a headache and they ask you a bunch of questions and then they give you your pills, right? No doctor is ever going to throw a bunch of pills in your face as soon as you walk in without a proper consultation. And if they did, you probably wouldn't take them because you would be a bit taken aback. How do you even know what to give me if you haven't even seen me yet? Okay. And so this is what it looks like. During the booking confirmation, you have to have the front desk mention that the appointment includes a full consultation. Block appropriate time. So take your time because discovery does take time. And if your team is booking Botox sessions back to back, for example, or body contouring sessions for as long as the treatment itself takes, you're essentially shooting yourself in the foot because you don't have the time to ask the right questions to discover the deeper motives and actually basically begin that prescriptive based process. Okay. You have to send pre-appointment forms or get them to fill them in during the intake in the reception area. Just have them fill out forms about the aesthetic goals that they're wanting to achieve and go wide here. Ask them what else they're looking to achieve. If you're doing body contouring, ask them all of the body areas that they want to treat. Ask them about any auxiliary sort of services that they want to consider, like skin tightening, laxity, lymphatic drainage, and DEXA body scan or measurements ongoing, nutrition, fitness, consultation, everything. Throw everything in there and have them kind of tick the things that they may be interested in. Ask them to basically divulge if they're curious about other services. So if you do facial aesthetics, if you do Botox fillers, you can also ask if they would like to hear more about your high ticket stuff, your Sculptras, your Radius, your microneedling with PRP, PRF. At this point, it's just a would you like to find out more about. This isn't would you like to buy it. It's just enough to start a conversation and to give your team permission to start talking about those things without it feeling like you're shoving it down their throat without being asked about it. It really changes the dynamic of the consultation. Not to mention that some of the best successful Medspas that we work with have TVs in the lounge areas where they play videos with before and after pictures of their high ticket services, and oftentimes patients walk in the treatment room after they see those videos play on loop while they wait to be taken in, and they inquire about those services because they're so wowed, they're so impressed by what they saw in there. And again, it shifts the perception, it shifts the dynamic because now you're being asked and you're just giving information, okay? Alrighty, now during the consultation, same dynamic. Start with the broader goals before doing the intro treatment. This is something that we see so frequently where they jump right into the treatment without doing a discovery, without even doing any consultation for that matter. And obviously, this is a huge missed opportunity and just sets the frame the wrong way. In fact, I would say your team shouldn't even begin the treatment that the patient came in for until you've done the thorough discovery and until you've discussed packages and ideally even sold them. Super helpful to use diagnostic tools, Visio, Aura, skin analysis to build value and show the concerns. Obviously, a trained esthetician, a trained injector would be able to look at these things and point them out without a device, but these things are so visual, they're so impressive that it's really worth having something like that, or a 3D body scan. Of course, again, you have to position the intro service as step one of their journey, not a standalone, and don't go straight into pitch. First, discover, then educate about what they actually need for their stated goals. Like if someone comes in and they discuss their body contouring goals and you don't explain to them how the treatment works, why it's important to do it over multiple sessions for laser hair removal, how it attacks the hair follicle, why it's required to be persistent with it, then obviously they won't understand and they won't have the buy-in. And so you use the treatment itself as a demonstration of your expertise, essentially, which is to say that you can start the consultation process whilst you're offering that first session, but not before. Okay, do not start a consultation, do not start a treatment before you've done the consultation. And the key psychological shift here is to realize that the consult needs to feel like they're receiving valuable expertise. They're not just being sold to. This is what I mean by the prescriptive based consultation approach, which means you're consulting and you're prescribing. All right. And so this is really what it boils down to. It's a frame between a quick fix versus a long-lasting solution. The choice shouldn't be between whether they've come in for the intro offer or that only, or the package that they would be getting upsold into that they would end up buying. It's a either or question. And so you start by understanding their goals. And so this is what it sounds like. Before we get started, I just want to understand, are you looking to try this once to see what it's like, or are you hoping to actually solve your excess fat, your wrinkles situation, hyperpigmentation long term? This is basically tapping into identity. It makes them self-identify as wanting real results. And so when it comes to presenting the real result solution, as opposed to this one initial session, it will only feel natural, but you obviously have to be careful not to trash and devalue the initial consultation and treatment. So be careful about when and how you deploy it. When it works after you've built value in the consultation and they're engaged, when you've already established that they have a problem worth solving. And so basically this is after a thorough discovery and after they've told you what they actually want to achieve, not what they think that they can afford. So be careful not to lead with this too early, because that's essentially bait and switch. They came in for $99, $149, $109. You're immediately trying to upsell them before they've even experienced anything. It's again like the doctor throwing pills in your face. It doesn't make any sense. This is how you do it instead. One, you validate their decision to come in. Great choice, starting with this body contouring service. Great choice, starting with laser hair removal. Consult them properly, understand their goals, the timeline, and what success looks like. And we have plenty of videos and frameworks on how to do thorough, extensive discovery. What are you looking to achieve? Why now? Why not last year? Why not next year? What's the personal urgency to do this now? And what does it actually look? What body part and which other body part? And what about that body part bothers you? For how long? Discovery should be so extensive that by the time you're done with it, you should be able to close your eyes and draw the portrait and the body shape of this person and write out a small kind of biography about their psychological motivations behind it. That's how well you should know them. You should understand their drives better than they understood them up until that point. Give them the opportunity to voice things that they haven't even spoken about before. They just look at at how they feel, but they have deeper motives. It's because maybe they're not dating as much as they should do. Maybe their relationship with their spouse, significant other, is deteriorating. Maybe they want to put themselves out there on dating platforms and they're not getting the attention that they think they deserve, that they want. Okay, that's consultation. And then show them what's actually required to achieve their stated goals, not your package goals, which is basically the before and afters, the treatments and the transformations of other people just like them who came in with similar concerns and achieved the outcomes similar to what they want. And then obviously position the choice. Based on what you've told me what you want to achieve, you have two paths. The frame should be not intro versus package. It should be what you said you want versus what this single session will actually do. This is not upselling. This is essentially showing them the gap between their expectation and reality. There are a few nuances to this, and there's also the scenario in which they say, I just want the first session. I just want to try this once. We'll get to that like in a sec. So when it comes to setting the expectations between single session and package, like I said, you have to be careful not to trash and devalue the intro session, because that's going to feel disingenuous. So it's like, oh, you've come for a 99, 149, but that's not going to achieve anything. Let's get you on a package instead. That's not the case. The case is you will absolutely see a reduction in your circumference. Many people lose anywhere between half an inch, 1 inch, 1.5, depends on what device you use, from the one session. Clients typically notice realistic outcomes. You will notice an improvement. But what one session won't do is, and this is where you give them the bigger goal that I mentioned. And I know you're probably wondering, if anyone pushes back and says, what do you mean I came in for this one session? This is why the frame on the phone is so important, and in the ads. Not the ad, not the consultation over the phone should promise a transformation, a complete transformation with just one session, because that is extremely misleading, and that's exactly what you want to avoid. Instead, you are now aware of their entire situation because you've consulted them and seen them in person. It wouldn't have been possible up until this point, okay? And so for that, we would need to look at 2 sessions, 4 sessions, 10 sessions over 3 months, 2 months, because, and this is how you justify it, physiological and technical reason, because the hair follicle regenerates. You need to continue to attack it, because the fat cells need to be destroyed and flushed out, because Botox, justify it. This is where you give them your expertise, the logical justification for it. Example, 1 session for body contouring. Reduction in measurements, some visible change, you'll feel tighter, you'll feel lighter. What it won't do is complete transformation of the area, permanent fat reduction without maintenance. So it's like you do 1 session now, you do 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you hop on a maintenance regimen, okay? This will only hit if you understand that this here is essentially you managing their expectations honestly while showing them the path to what they actually want. So this is essentially if you accept and align with the fact that until they come into the clinic and until you see them, you cannot possibly know the extent of their problem and of their desired outcome. Therefore, the prescription couldn't have come before. As long as you understand that, all of this is going to feel ingenuous. It's not going to backfire, because this is ultimately what this strategy is built upon. And so the last one is, if they say, I just want to try it once, you have few options depending on how aggressive you want to be. Option 1 is let's be honest approach. Option 2 is managing expectations approach. And option 3 is the diagnostic first approach. So let's go over all 3 of them. So let's be honest. I appreciate you being upfront. Here's the thing. If you only do it once, you'll get a little result, but it won't last and you'll basically be wasting your money. I don't want to take your money for something that won't give you actually what you want. So let me ask you, what made you interested in service in the first place? Okay. This is fine. It's redirecting back to the problem so you can sell into the problem rather than focus on the solution and outcome. And it works because you're basically positioning this as your expertise. You're recommending it because you don't want to let them waste the money. And again, it will only work if you didn't set incorrect expectations in the ads and in the selling call. The ads should be aligned. Option 2 is the managing expectations. This is actually my preferred one. Totally fair. I just want to make sure we're on the same page about what one session will do and won't do. One treatment will absolutely give you the outcome, just like we mentioned earlier, but it won't solve the permanent actual problem. If that's cool with you and you want to experience it, we can do. But most people who come in for this, they end up frustrating if they only do 1 sesh, because it's not enough to see the change they're hoping for. Does that make sense? Okay, and this lets you basically invite them to self-select. Some will say, oh, in that case, what do I actually need? You're actually opening the door for the real sale. And then the last one is the diagnostic first approach, which is, since we're doing a consultation anyway, let me at least take a look at what's going on and tell you what would actually work for your specific situation. That way, even if you only do this once, you know what your options are if you decide to do more later. So during the assessment, you build a lot of value, a lot of expertise, the report, the comfort, so that they want to hear your recommendation and then you try again. Obviously any of these three are fine. The one you absolutely do not want to do is to just say, okay, cool, and proceed with a single treatment, because you're basically closing the door to any possibility of upsell. Like I said, I actually have a preference for combination of 1 and 2. 3 is the prescriptive based approach. Whichever one you choose, you have to be direct, manage expectations, and don't be too pushy. Don't be pushy at all, in fact. There should be absolutely no push. It should only be lean back. You lean back so that they lean in. And if they truly insist on one after you educate them, you've got two choices. You either tell them they're not the right fit, you don't take their money, so you don't lead them on, or you do the first session, they deliver great service, and then you basically book them for a follow-up so you can reassess where they're at, if they've achieved their goals, and so that you maintain that relationship. Or you can even downsell them on appointment-wise for follow-up consultations and treatments, provided that this was just a logistical objection, such as they generally couldn't afford a package now, or for whatever other reason. So I hope this makes sense, and we're going to be working on this, training it together. If you want to train and role play on any of these scenarios with your team, medspapatients.com, we're here for your disposal. And if not, we'll see you in the next video.